attempting to put my phone in my pocket without turning my phone off. And putting on my mask. Mask is almost on. And let's go and do this request. And grab my pen. Mask came off.
Hi, could I meet with an officer shortly?
You need to meet with an officer?
Yes, please.
What's your name?
John Miller.
1 moment, please.
Thank you.
So, Your Honor, I've got this information. I've asked the law enforcement to identify the victim, identify the criminal that assaulted me. I'm trying to be as reasonable as possible, so I'm going to present this information to the officer. I'm going to minimize my conversation with them because they have not been doing their duty as sworn officers of the law, enforcing the law. So I'm going to give them the opportunity to identify and do their job. Again, I'm attempting to be reasonable in the face of unreasonableness. I'll step outside. Kind of amazing. This puts kind of a timestamp on the efficiency and the expectation when we try to engage with public servants, public employees. I don't mean that in a derogatory way at all. I definitely understand and appreciate and respect their position, and that they're appointed to do a job to keep a civil society. Unfortunately, when we become a victim of a crime, this is our only resource to get assistance. And in my personal situation, I have not been on the reasonableness side of receiving justice, and I have to go through extraordinary efforts. And this is just one effort that they should have done this just as a matter of course of duty. I reported a criminal act. I presented evidence of the criminal act, and I just needed the identity of the person, either they were working in authority or not.
Mr. Miller,
Yes, sir.
how you doing?
I'm doing well. I have a case that was closed recently regarding an assault that took place down at the Lincoln Court Shopping Center.
Yes, I spoke to you on the phone yesterday.
Very good.
Lieutenant Kopaz is in a meeting right now, but
It's totally fine.
yeah, so I'll have an answer for you shortly.
That's okay. I have to assume, based upon the information I have thus far from your investigation, that this person wasn't a security guard. No confirmation he was a security guard. No information was provided regarding his identification, his Act 235 certification. None of that has been provided to me. So I have to treat it as a private person that assaulted me. So I've identified the private person's driver's license number. I don't have access to that information. So the only thing I can do is I can provide it to you and request that you identify the criminal that perpetrated violence against me, and I'll let it go through the court of law.
Okay.
So I'm going to present this to you as the driver's license number of the person. Now, he may not be the owner of the vehicle, but I have to do my own due diligence and
Right.
investigate.
But just so you know, like if somebody came up to us and said, "Hey, can you run this tag?" We just can't get
Absolutely.
that information.
Absolutely. This is related to the investigation. So I'm not just arbitrarily saying, run the
But if your
tag.
investigation, if your matter is already closed,
Sure. If you choose not to do that, that's at your discretion. I'm being a reasonable person.
okay. So what exactly are you inquiring about? Like, what are you asking?
So let me instead of ask, I'll state, okay? I presented the officer with a report of a crime under penalty of perjury. It's a false report if I lie. I presented a little bit of evidence to the officer of the alleged crime. I have no evidence that that is a security guard that did that. I do now, because I went back and they observed, but he won't identify. He is hiding. So I'm telling you, this security guard assaulted me. I needed his name, ID, and his employer. That was not provided to me. Wasn't provided to me by PennDOT, by him, or by the police. So if you will not identify him, that individual I'm asserting is driving that car. If you choose not to do that, that's at your discretion.
What's this?
That's the email address where I want the information sent. technoevanguy@gmail.com.
Okay, but like I said, we don't normally give out. We would not normally just give out people's.
This isn't
information.
normal. This isn't normal. This is alleged to a crime. So
Right,
that's
but
okay.
Even it's, hypothetically, if the
I don't want to deal with hypothetical. I want to deal with this situation.
Hold on. This is how I'm going to explain it to you.
Sure.
Hypothetically, if the police are investigating a crime, okay,
A report of a crime.
and in the course of that investigation they get suspect identification, that is not something that is emailed to a victim of that crime.
That's fine. Will it be a matter of public record?
In what fashion?
Will that name be attached to a closed case?
If through the course of that investigation, if the suspect is identified, it would normally be put on a report. Yeah.
Why wasn't the suspect identified?
No one said he wasn't identified.
Oh, so you may have identified him, you're just not providing me, the victim, with who assaulted you.
Say that again?
You're not informing the victim of who the criminal was that assaulted him.
If the matter is closed and there isn't a victim and there isn't a defendant or a suspect, if you will.
So your investigation revealed that there wasn't a crime?
Like I spoke to you yesterday,
Mhm.
you informed Officer Mara of your position on how you would like to see that matter handled.
He didn't
He
handle it
followed
according.
that-
He didn't follow that.
He followed that.
No, he
And the
didn't.
matter's closed. So there's no victim. There's no
So
suspect.
can you provide me evidence that the alleged criminal spoke to me as directed to the officer to apologize, that I would give the ability to accept the apology or enact a private person arrest? I'd like that evidence.
Well, I can explain that this way, okay? Your request at the time
Uh-huh.
that you wanted a person to apologize to you is not something that would be handled in that fashion.
Absolutely. So
Right.
if you chose not to do that, I was saying, do your job and effect an arrest. You don't ask me what my job is. I'm
No
telling
one
you,
asked
dude.
you what your job
Yeah,
is.
no. He would. My conversation with the officer
Okay.
was, he says, "What do you want out of this?" And I said, "I want you to do your job. I'm reporting a crime, do the investigation, and to determine if you have enough evidence that supports the claim that an assault occurred. Do your job." Yeah, fine, that's fine, but it may not be an assault, it may be harassment. Like, you can redefine the words all you want, the judge will make that determination. I told him that if I speak to him, he offers an apology, and I hear the sincerity of his apology, I may accept that apology and not continue pursuing it. If I don't hear that, I'm going to request to effect a private person arrest. That's on video. You're recording now, right?
Should I be?
Your policy requires that when you engage a citizen that you activate your body cam. Are you following policy?
Let's stick to the issue at hand, sir.
So you're not going to answer that question.
I will have an answer for you for, like I told you, with...
Am I being reasonable or am I being unreasonable?
No one said you're not being reasonable. You have questions. We're getting you answers to your questions. Sometimes you may not like the answers that
Oh,
you
absolutely.
get. And that's...
That remedy will happen before the judge.
Yeah.
That's
So,
before the judge. So you are not recording?
Right now?
Yeah.
No.
So you're not following policy?
Let's stick to the issue at hand, sir.
Okay. So you're not willing to, the judge is going to hear that you're not willing to follow policy when recording.
Yeah.
That's
Lieutenant
fine.
Lopez is in a meeting, okay?
Yep,
And
yep.
as soon as he gets out of that meeting, I will get an answer for your question, like I spoke to you yesterday about, and I will call you with that answer. It may be an answer you go, oh yeah, I like that, or it may not be.
It may
I
not
don't
be.
know.
That's totally
But
fine.
we'll see,
This
okay?
will go before the judge.
I will pass this request on to Lieutenant Lopez.
That's
and
totally
that may
fine.
fall under the realm of if it is a closed case, then we
You-
would be able to
That's
divulge
okay.
that information.
That's okay.
Okay.
I want to be reasonable.
I appreciate that.
So, reasonably, I don't want to put you folks in the position of dereliction of duty in accordance with the law when reporting a crime. So I'm being reasonable, and I'm making you well aware as to this process, and I'm documenting the process all the way through.
Okay.
And I've got multiple violations, and I'm hoping to stop the unlawful violations. So that's why I'm coming here. That's why I'm asking questions, that we have a record, so that when I get before a judge, that I can demonstrate being reasonable in the face of people that are ignoring the process of a citizen when reporting a crime. So that's all I'm doing.
I got you.
So we'll let the judge review our mutual evidence and make a determination as to who's being reasonable.
But if the case is closed, how would a judge get that, what you're calling mutual evidence?
That will be through a subpoena.
Oh, I gotcha.
I'll
Okay.
subpoena the information.
Okay.
Yeah. You will deny right to know law requests. You don't even answer emails, so it's okay.
I'm not the right to know officer, so
I
I
know,
can't
I
speak
know.
for that. So
So I'll go one step further. That my reasonableness goes months ago. I've sent hundreds of emails to various public employees, to district attorneys,
okay.
to township supervisors, to chiefs of police, to custodians of public facilities, buildings managers, to allow them to know in advance that I'm a law-abiding citizen that has medical concerns. I am going to conduct myself on your property in a certain way, and I don't choose to engage with anyone. And I provide a complete narrative in advance ever to walking into a building. Now, my first statement when I send that courtesy that you've received this email. Whether you read it, whether you forward it, whether you apply it, I have no control. My only means to communicate with you is phone call, email, certified letter. Pretty much you won't do anything unless it's notarized with a return receipt. So I've done that as well.
Okay.
I have not received any response.
You
So
send in general or to these particular agencies that you've reached out to?
to this agency specifically, so I'm not dealing hypothetically,
Okay.
I've done an entire communication path
Okay.
with no response,
Okay.
which is okay. I don't expect you to respond.
I'm working on a response for you today for what we're talking about.
I got you.
Okay.
Which is very unusual, so I appreciate it.
Okay.
That's why I have to assume that I'm not going to get the call, I'm not going to get the ID.
Well, never assume, okay? But I will tell you.
I have to assume you're not going to do what you say you're going to do unless I have evidence to the contrary.
When I tell you I'm going to call you, I'm going to call you.
I trust you
Okay.
as much as I know you, which I don't know you.
That's
I
fair.
know that you can lie to me, so I have to wait for the evidence. Nothing against you.
I get you. I get you.
When I get the phone call, I'll be like, great, here's a guy that will return a phone call.
And that will be a statement that you'll be making in a little while. For the length of the meeting, I don't know, but you will have a call back from me today. Okay?
I'm glad you're on the record saying that.
On your record, why? Are you recording?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
That's good.
No expectation of privacy in public.
I get you. And I don't have a problem with that.
And if you're doing the right thing, you absolutely shouldn't. So it's as am I should have no problem with you recording me.
Right.
So it's a two-way street. The law is equally applied. It applies to you. It applies to me. You have special privileges under the law that I don't have because of your position, but I operate under the law. I sit under the law. I don't sit above the law.
I got you.
All right.
Okay.
So you have the possession
I
of
will pass
that.
this on. I will, as soon as he gets out of his meeting, I will speak with him, get a confirmation one way or the other, and you will have a call back from me later today.
Awesome.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
So take care.